I saw a lot of laughing faces, my body, head and soul. Many miles away, I could start a perfect story. I found myself and find no glory. This deceptive world, giving me the sign, giving me the sign. Giving me the sign, giving me the sign.
Welcome, everybody, to the Sci-Fi Queens, where we explore the female characters in science fiction, television, movies, books, art, comics, and anywhere female characters are depicted in sci-fi. If you are new to our channel, we welcome you, and we ask that you hit that subscribe and notification bell. That'll really help our channel grow and let you know when our episodes are on. If you want to support our channel, just go to our merch store that is scrolling at the bottom of the screen and check out our merch. I am your host, Nina, and with us tonight, we have my co host, Sarah, partner in crime, and we have two very special guests. Kristen and Philip tonight when we're going to be talking about the badass women of Star Trek Discovery. Sarah, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm good. Philip, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Awesome. And Kristen, what's going on with you?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm feeling really peaceful. I'm ready to be here and chat about Star Trek. I'm all about it.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, we know this is the last season, unfortunately, of Star Trek Discovery. We're going to try to we're going to be talking about the female characters, but if we do mention anything of the latest episodes, we'll let you know ahead of time. We're about to say a spoiler so that if you haven't watched it, you don't listen to that portion of it. Okay. But we're going to dive right into one of my favorite characters, Michael Burnham, played by
Yeah.
Yes.
my girl crush, Sonequa Martin Green. I love her.
Hmm.
I mean, we're gonna start with Phil. Phil, when we saw her come back as captain with these beautiful braids, with this beautiful look that she's got, talk to me about her character and the influence she's had.
I just thought it was nice to see a regular captain of color and a woman on
Yes,
a Star Trek show. We didn't get to see that each and every other week, and she on the show is like she's a badass. She is up front. I think to me she's like one of those captains that is constantly always on the line of something. She doesn't hold back. She doesn't want to hold back. Spoiler alert before I say anything, because like in the first episode of this season, she's on top of a starship and, and, and,
Yes.
and she's trying to disable it. I'm like, and she's not thinking about herself. She's just thinking about trying to disable the ship.
yes. Yes, and she is one of my favorite characters. I actually started following Sonequa Martin Green when she was on The Walking Dead because I'm a big
Oh
Walking
yeah.
Dead fan.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I definitely love her character. Kristen, talk to me about her character, and as a woman, how did her character impact you?
Ooh. Well, she was the first like heroine that I got to see like as, a captain because I saw Janeway second when I was getting into Star Trek. So she was my first female captain to see. And I love her growth and her like she's so ambitious and determined, but eager to prove herself and tough, but at the same time, like she has such like feminine leadership qualities in a lot of ways, in
Yes,
ways that people don't always notice. Like she is interested in her crew as a whole person. And she invites people to connect and pull them together in such a beautiful, subtle way all the time that, like, in my job, like, I'm like, what would Michael Burnham do? As far as like how to treat people and like, let me invite you to make a better choice and see you as a whole person. Because I think she just calls people in and helps them. Like, I mean, like, calls them together. I guess that's a better way to
Yes,
say it. But like, calls
absolutely.
them together. Yeah.
Yes. Sarah, what does her character mean to you? As a mother of a biracial child, seeing this representation on here, what does it do for you?
Well, it's like, and even Leah likes her, because she's like, wait, she was raised by white parents. I'm like, well, yeah, her mom was human and her father, her adopted dad was Tarek, that was, that's not a spoiler, but, and she's like, wait, what? And I said, yeah, and she was raised to be very strict, but then she's got to grapple with her Vulcan heritage and her human heritage, and that gives that, kind of what Leah's got to deal with sometimes.
Yeah.
So, because she's got her Hawaiian heritage and, my non-really heritage, but you know what I mean. She's got to grapple with that meshing, and we see that struggle. And I went back to in prep for this. I went back to season one and started over. I mean, because I've watched the new episodes with Devin, but then I went back to season one and I've been binging, and it's like seeing her way back there and where she is now. Sometimes it's hard to reconcile that journey because she was
Yeah.
wild and crazy in that first season,
Mm.
Hmm.
and she's 'cause she's still the mutineer, and she's still she's not captain yet. It's still Lorca's discovery, but you know what I mean. And well, actually now we're up to Kelly, but you know what I mean. Um, but it's that journey that she has to go on, which I mean a lot of us have to do that in our life. You can't just you know things happen to you and shrug them off and move on. You have to deal with it, or you can't move on.
Yeah. So,
And
Sarah, to you,
go ahead.
what makes her a badass character? What was the clinch for you that made you think badass character? And I'm coming with that question for the rest of you, so think about it.
I think it's that no matter what the cost, she will do what's best for everyone. It's that, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Like, especially with her mutiny, she was trying to save everyone and then everybody blames her, but it wasn't, if she'd gotten to do what she needed to do, maybe the battle of the binary stars wouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's what gets me with her. It's always the needs of the many with
And
her.
Kristen, to you, what makes her a badass character?
I mean, I could talk about that for a long time, but I'll try to be quick. I think she's such an integrated person by the end of like the show. Like, she has just her growth arc, I guess, sort of what you were saying, Sarah. Just that's really
Yeah.
inspiring to push through and stay true to your values and to grow. And by the time she's is where she is, like, she has this full capacity to be connected to people and still maintain that like tough badass, yeah, I could kick your ass if I wanted to, at any point, but she chooses not to. She chooses to have compassion and chooses to hold back, because of her values. And that's, I mean, what isn't badass about that? It's just
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
great. Yeah.
Exactly. How about you, Philip? What part of her makes you think badass character?
Just like the guys said before, her growth. I mean, she's at the
Mhm.
point right now where she's making decisions that are saving the universe, and she's not second guessing herself. She's not, going somewhere, crying her eyes out. She's a solid character, and I just love that about her. I just love that she just on the front lines, just just doing her thing. Girl, she's just doing it.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. I love that
Yes.
she's
Oh.
so multifaceted,
Mhm.
where you see that emotional side, and I know she was criticized for that. But you see the emotional side, you see the stern side, you see
Mhm.
Hmm.
the rebellious side of who she is. She's really multifaceted, and I love that about the character because we see her growing through every season within those facets. And we're all multifaceted. We all have our moments of crying. We all have our moments of, joy and anger. And yes, girlfriend can throw down and fight. Okay? I mean, I have gained a newfound respect for Vulcan martial arts. I wish it was a real thing. Okay? And I'm a Klingon girly. You know I'm a
Yeah.
Klingon girly. I love Klingons, but I really wish Vulcan Montreal was a real thing. I think it's fantastic. He is an amazing character. Um, and we have here a comic from Eric that says that she is Sasha from
Yes.
The Walking Dead. Absolutely. And Devin says Michael was right in the Vulcan hello. I kind of agree with him. What do you guys think? What do you guys
Ooh.
think? Phil, do you think she was right on the Vulcan hello?
Yes, most definitely. I thought she was right.
Yeah. How about you, Kristen? Did you agree on that Vulcan hello?
Yes, I don't think I would have the courage to do, well, clearly not the ability, but the courage to do what
Yeah.
she did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. To
And how,
to
well, how
mute
about you,
to
Sarah?
mutiny with to mutiny without any. She knew she needed what needed to be done, and she did it,
Yes.
Mhm.
and at great personal cost, but she still did it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and she didn't get the torpedoes fired, and then hey, now we're in a war.
Right, she
But I
didn't
mean,
think twice about it. She didn't think
no,
twice about it. She just went ahead
she
and
she took she took Sarek's advice and just said, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
went on with it.
Yep. And I think that that's a really good key point is I think that what makes her such a unique character is she knows good advice and she knows when to take it and when to implement it. Even
Mhm.
though others may not see it as good advice, she really does know that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that that is really amazing. Now, we can't talk about the badass women of Star Trek Discovery without talking about my girl.
oh yes,
What? Right?
Yes.
Michelle
All
Yeoh as
right.
both Captain Philippa and Empress
Emperor.
Philippa. These are
Yes.
two different individuals, okay?
Oh
So,
yeah.
Philip, talk to me about each of these individuals and why they so badass.
well, Captain Philippa, I wish we could know a little bit more about her because we
Agreed.
didn't get to see much about her character, but she seemed like she was pretty much a strong character show. But Empress, badass all the way. You couldn't tell girlfriend nothing. Oh, I just the
Oh.
attitude, just the way she just walks and just knows what she has to
Mhm.
go and do, and I
Yes.
love Empress Philippa.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yep. How about you, Kristen? What about these two
Oh.
same but different people?
I mean, Empress has the best one-liners, hands down.
Yes.
Yes.
She like is so she'll cut you pretty deep. It's great, but she also has like a wonderful protectiveness of Michael, even though it's a different Michael. But I
Yes.
love her
Mhm.
protectiveness of Michael, and it's so deep that it feels like it's transferred from
Yeah.
Captain to Empress, and that to me is like the core. Like I think at her core, she is caring and protective. It's just she's like, now I'm a warrior, like kind of harsh protector, but that's still in there.
Yes.
And then the captain, I didn't get to know her very well, but she
We
seems
needed more of
very
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
similar. Yeah, I liked the quote by her. I may butcher it, but she talks about we get to know who we are once we get to know other people, and like I think about that one a lot. Um,
Yes. I think she
but
had
Discovery has great quotes.
this kind of mother quality
Mhm.
to her with her relationship with Michael, which I
Yes.
thought was really special. Um, I felt like it was really important for, I wish they would have been able to expand that more before killing her off. But I do
Yeah.
have to say that Empress
Mhm.
Giorgio is not always wrong. She may not always go about things the way we would,
Mhm.
and I do question her cuisine, her taste in cuisine, because I'm not trying to eat
Oh
Saru.
no,
But
Yeah.
she's
no.
not always wrong. Sarah, talk to me about these two ladies.
Well, and since I just started over, I did get some info, about Captain, and that she was basically a mother figure because Sarah brought Michael and handed her right to Bordeaux and said, "Here's my ward, take care of her."
Yeah.
And so she went from basically her father's house to her stepmother's house, ship,
Yeah,
whatever.
sort of.
Uh,
Yeah.
well, and then even what I was just what I realized at this time because I paid more attention to it. Saru was really hurt by their relationship because he didn't get the opportunities that Michael had. Like, because
No,
Michael learned everything she needed to learn from Philippa, but then she didn't move on. And,
exactly.
and that's, so Philippa did have a lot to, Captain had a lot to teach and diplomatic and all that. But then, I honestly think that the Empress is, I mean, they're the same person, but they are different. It's like she's without the diplomacy, like you take the inhibitions away, and
Hmm.
do you know what I'm trying?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's you're still the same person underneath. It's just you
Yeah.
just don't have in the Terran Empire. You don't have the same niceties and restrictions that you have in our universe, and
Absolutely.
so you just
Absolutely.
get to do whatever you want. You say what you want, like Kristen said, she's got her one-liners. And she's got
Yeah, exactly.
it, it's you just have that freedom. I mean, they're wicked and they're
And how
vicious, but
amazing is Michelle Yeoh as an actress? Like,
Oh,
I
she
know.
is phenomenal.
yes.
First of all, she has been around for a long time. Actually,
Mhm.
there's a message here from Eric. It says, I have been in love with Michelle
Yes.
Yeoh
Yes.
as an
So
actor
true.
since Tomorrow Never
Mhm.
Dies in 97. Always owns and demonstrates such a powerful inner strength. And he's
Yes.
absolutely right. Every time I've seen her in any character I've seen her, she has owned that character. Like you
Yes.
almost believe she is that person. Like she is amazing because, and I've never actually seen her as a villain until Star Trek Discovery. Like, and I'm like, she is so good. Like, she is really this versatile actress. What an
Yep.
amazing role! Because Empress Philippa is truly a villain of villains. She is,
Oh yeah.
she's definitely a badass. I love her fighting skills, but she's definitely a villain for sure. You know, but she is an amazing actress. I think that Star Trek was really lucky to get her, and we were
Yes.
lucky to have seen her in this role. And I really wish that if they do Star Trek, what's that called? Section
Section
31.
31. Yes.
Yes.
We need to have her in the movie. We need to have her, because she will blow it out of the sky. Like she would just nail it so well. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like
And
a
now,
scene stealer in the
yes,
best way.
absolutely. Now this is my personal hero right here,
Really.
Tilly.
Totally.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I just want to start by saying this beauty is not plus size. She is just a perfect figure. But in Hollywood standards, she is considered a plus size actress. And I love the fact that they show her completely. They put her in uniform, show her active. It doesn't it stops Star Trek from writing this amazing character with her. And as a plus size woman, it's so good to see this representation and to see the growth from Ensign Tilly to now Lieutenant. It's an amazing growth arc that she's had. Um, Captain Tilly is terrifying. Okay,
Oh
Phil.
Yes.
yeah.
Phil, you start with Tilly. What's going on with Tilly?
I'm a
Why is she a
Captain
badass?
Tilly. Well, Captain Tilly scared the hell out of me because I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, she was like, I don't want to even say the B word, but she
Yes.
was, and I was like,
Yeah.
it was just amazing to see the difference of the two characters because our Tilly, she was sweet, kind, she would
Yes.
go through emotional things, but in the end, she always come out and making the right decisions about what she needed to do and stuff like that. But um, the mirror universe Tilly, I wouldn't mess with her. No.
No, I wouldn't. She
Yeah.
literally scares me. And that's something
Yeah.
that as an actress, it has to be difficult to play the same character differently in
Yeah,
the
I
same
like.
show.
That's the one thing I liked about Discovery. How each actor is able to play something totally different from their main character, and then
Yes.
she's done it so well.
Yes. Now,
Good
Kristen, talk
point.
to me about Tilly and what makes Tilly a badass and what makes Captain Tilly a
Oh,
badass, besides the fact that
goodness.
she terrifies us all.
I don't know if I can talk about Captain Tilly too much. I would say part of me is like likes it too much a little bit, and so I'll just leave it at that. So I'll just move on from my yes, whatever you say, Captain. Can I take another Captain?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But that's
Yeah,
not
she
being
does.
badass feminist.
No, she's very, she gives, Captain
hot.
Tilly gives very, well, besides that, but also she gives very like dominatrix kind of vibes.
Right?
That was
Yeah.
us dodging around that guy, but yeah. But we can just
I'll throw it right
We
out
go
there.
right into it here. We go
Alright.
right
Yeah, no.
into it.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's
Yeah,
what
and then,
scares me about her.
Yeah.
well, and like, and I just watched this episode like an hour ago, and just her, going when she first, they have to assume, she has to assume that she, assume control of the ship in the mirror universe, and she's like, I can't do this. This isn't me. And like within 2 hours, she's got it, and it's
Yep,
just wow.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's so
Now we have a
cool.
great comment about Tilly here from Eric. Welcome, Eric. We're going to
Yes.
learn
Hey,
more about
Eric.
Eric later, by the way, guys.
Oh,
Eric,
cool.
Eric is here, and I'm like all nervous that he's here, and you guys are gonna find out later about why. But Tilly and Saru bring the much-needed comedy and beat that breath refreshingly into the heart of the show, which is really true. I mean, Saru and Tilly are very comedically done sometimes, and they're just so kind. And the balance in Tilly's character is amazing. I, I wish we had more seasons so we can see her as Captain Tilly in our universe, not just the Mirror Scary universe dominatrix Captain Tilly.
Yeah.
You know?
But I love how she's timid in her approach a little bit. Like she's very chatty, and then she'll be like, "Oh, I don't know," but she still gets it done. Like her actions versus her demeanor, she still pushes through no matter what. Like even though Michael was kind of like, "Stay away from me," Tilly's like, "No, you're my roommate. You're a built-in friend." Like she's ready to go.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
a
love that
built-in
because-
friend. I love
yeah, like as a nervous person myself, I'm like, but we can still do it. Like if Tilly can do it, that's just
And
lovely
she
to see.
does the nervous talking that we do sometimes, and yeah.
Absolutely.
Character.
Absolutely.
All of them are relatable in different ways, but she's, I think, kind of a lot of us. Yeah.
So we're gonna go on to this beauty right here. These two beauties, I put them
Which one?
together. I put them together because they are on the helm together. And we have Emily Kaut as Kayla, and we have, oh, please forgive me for pronouncing your name badly, Ojen Oladejo as Lieutenant Joanne Owasak. I don't know which one I did worse, her real name or her character's name. So my apologies. But these two ladies have been with Vernon from the beginning. And they have seen the growth that Vernon has done, and I've seen a lot of growth in them. This picture of Kayla is when she first sees Vernon, when she's brought on as the mutineer. That's why she's got that look on her face. But Philip, talk to me about these two beautiful characters and their interaction on the helm, and how do you see that?
To me, they're like a team together, both of them, and they interact off of each other. But I just love the one episode. I can't think of the episode where Joanna was fighting, and she kept getting knocked down, and I'm like, girl, you need to stop right now because you're not going to do it. But she was so determined that she was just going to, beat this guy, and she did it, and I love that. I love that she didn't give up so easily, and it was just great. But I love, but like both of them when they're both on the bridge. They give them they both give them like these little looks to each other and stuff like that, and they just work well together.
It's like they communicate with their eyes.
Right? Yeah, like they telepath or something like that. Yeah.
I love it. Kristen, what do you think of these characters and how they were written in to work together that way?
I wish we got to know more about them. I wish they had a few episodes just on them, but there's so much happening, you don't get to know them as well.
Yeah.
I do love that like each of them gets really worried when the other one's in danger and how they look out for them, each other.
Yes.
And I don't know. I feel like it's kind of hinted at that they might be a couple. I'm not really sure, but in my head canon, sure, yes. But I don't. I don't know. I feel like you already said it. Like just the way that they communicate. The most you get is like a little look here and there, or like kind of a smirk. But I feel like they are a little bit the unsung heroes a lot
Yeah.
of times on the bridge because they're
Exactly.
responsible for so much important things happening.
Yeah.
And they just no fuss, no muss. Like we're just doing it.
Yeah.
We're saving
They're
everyone's lives with
definitely
our
the most
amazing
amazing
flying.
fly girls.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Well,
they're like amazing pilots. Sarah, talk to me about these characters.
well, Owo's a very badass fighter, and then Kayla struggles with her PTSD from the Battle of the Binary Stars, and
Yeah.
that's when she got her augment because she had brain damage, and that stop. Yeah, I know you want to talk about it too. Um, and she's
She's a
the
fan.
she's the one in the crew that I identify with like the most because of her struggles with PTSD, because I struggle with PTSD, and I can see it coming. Like I see when she's gonna have like this, she's like, oh shit, I'm gonna have an episode because like
Yes.
here's the trigger right here. And I think she just these two are my like insider favorites. I mean, everybody likes the main characters, Billy and Captain, but these two are my little secret heartthrobs because
Yes.
Owo will and Owo takes care of Kayla. She does. She watches out for her because if Kayla's having a bad time, Owo will take care of her.
Yes.
And
They do look
and
out for
knowing
each
that
other so beautifully.
and that's the and even if they're not dating, they're still as the fly girls of the Discovery. They are like a bonded pair. They have that friendship, that working relationship. They have to control the ship together. So I think
Yeah.
that's part of that bond too.
Absolutely. And I think that that's what makes them badass, that they can fly that ship through anything. They can communicate with each other. And they really do. I love the fact that Discovery really gives the characters these issues because these are issues we go through and we can relate to
Yes.
them and we can connect with them. And they do such a wonderful job. It's amazing. And now we have these two amazing
Mhm.
badass characters.
Yeah.
I was so distraught when Lieutenant Commander Ariam left. She's played by Hannah Chessman, and Rachel Ancelleri. I know I'm gonna butcher all these names. I am so sorry. As Lieutenant Nan, and these characters are amazing characters. It's to the Lieutenant Commander Ariam. I almost in the beginning thought she was going to be like a background character. I didn't realize how important she was until the seasons started to really grow. Um, so Philip, talk to me about these beautiful ladies right here.
Lieutenant, I was so upset when that one episode she sacrificed herself to save the
Oh,
others.
so upsetting. Yes.
That was I was literally heartbroken, even though I know much about her at the time. But she was the strong character, and she knew what she had to do, and she did it. Um,
And it was really courageous. And it
yes,
was really her badass moment right there.
yes, it was. Nam, she knows who she is, and I like people who are very confident and
Yeah.
doesn't. Cause I like to be confident most of the time, but I always second guess myself sometimes. But she's very confident, and she knows her job and what she has to do with her job, and she's not gonna let nobody stop her from doing her job. I like that. That's what I
Absolutely.
like.
Yeah. I love the fact that they incorporated her species from the Next Generation with the little
The
breathable
breathing.
tubes.
Yes.
I love that they incorporated these things and kept that continuity with these characters. Um, how about you, Kristen?
Ooh, I don't honestly have a ton to say about Nand yet, just because I'm just now in my rewatch. This is my second time watching it ever, where like I'm just getting introduced to her a little bit. So it's like, oh man, I don't have enough of memory of her, but she seems extremely observant and aware and grounded. I'll say
Yeah,
that so far.
yeah,
And then Ariam, I mean, it's just rip your heart out. But I love the way that the crew interacted with her and the way that she would kind of poke back and forth with them. And like it did add a bit of lightness. And
yeah,
it just like the way she was different and how they would kind of joke back, but she would dish it out and take it back. Like that showed like such trust and connection between them.
yeah,
And you could tell how much they loved and respected her, and she loved and respected them. And that was really like
yeah.
another layer to it. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Sarah, what do you think of these characters?
I I honestly forgot about Ariam. Whoops. And that's why I was like, I need to rewatch because we were watching the new ones, and I was like, oh yeah, her. Okay, let me, because it's been such a long time. I mean, it's been a while since I watched them.
Mhm.
Christian, you probably know what I mean. And it's just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
let me go watch this again so I know what's going on. Um, but I do, she's very, yeah, I don't want to say she's like the Data of the show, but kind of. She has that very
Sort of,
logical,
yeah.
you know what I mean? She has that presence, that very logical, machine
She's kind of a
oriented.
cross between Data and Seven of Nine.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's kind of it. It's she's not as badass as Seven, and she's not as kind of dopey as Data, but somewhere in the middle, if you know what I mean. Because
Absolutely.
and then no, and I liked her, and I liked that the arc that they gave her, that they brought her species from, like you said, they brought it over, and then they gave her an arc, and um like Devin said, I hope she comes back too. I mean, it would be nice to see more, but sometimes we don't get the storylines that we want because there's so much else going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely agreed. Now
Mhm.
these two ladies are
Oh,
among my favorites. Okay.
oh,
We have here Rivka Sharma as Commander Landry and Tig Notario as Jet. I'm a huge Tig fan when I knew she was coming on. I was so excited. I love her comedy. She's so funny. So Philip, talk to me about these characters.
Well, Tig, oh, I just love how a whole season can go by and then all of a sudden she appears. And everything is just okay and all right. I was
Yes.
like, yes, Tig is here. She's doing it. And I especially love last season she got when she got captured by oh, I can't think of his name right now. The guy that he was trying to get to another universe to meet up with his lover, and she told him, she was like,
Mud. Wasn't it
he's
Mud?
gone.
no, it wasn't Mud. It was the guy that got
Stan
that Booker.
Mans.
That No, the guy that Booker got in trouble with when they stole
Yes.
the star drive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That guy.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
he was trying to get to the another universe to meet up with him, and she just told it out. He's not there. He's dead. He's dead. And she's just telling him straight up.
Hmm.
And I just love,
Yeah.
I just love the actor. I just love how they use the character because, like I said, you don't see her for like what 5 or 6 or 7 episodes, and then she's
And
just
she
there. I'm
she
like,
moseys on in like
and
ain't nothing been going on.
Let
And
me tell you something. The
Yes.
moment I knew Tig's character was going to be a badass was when they found her and she was keeping her crew alive and she wasn't even a
Oh,
doctor.
by herself
mm,
yeah.
for so
Yep.
long.
Oh my
And she's
goodness.
like, what else am I going to do? And they're like, you chose to say, like, of course. Why would I not? Like, amazing. Oh, go ahead. Sorry to
Oh,
interrupt.
no, no.
no, you're
Please go
good.
ahead. You're
No, go
next. You're
ahead.
next. So go on.
Oh,
Keep
well, no,
going.
I just like the self sacrifice and the focus of her is amazing. But I love her, like, gruff love towards people, kind of like what you were saying, Philip, and just sort of. But she notices things too with like, well, I can't give anything away with the new episodes, but I like that she was observing things about someone else's family and the dynamic. I was like, Tig is paying attention. She knows it.
Yeah.
And I think, like,
And she's
Michelle
not afraid
Yeoh,
to point it out either. She's super
Right.
smart. Super smart character. I love that.
I think she is like Michelle Yeoh in like kind of a scene stealer, a very different way, but like just you can't help but remember every moment she's there. You're like, oh, there's Tig. Oh, there she is.
Yep. Sarah, what about you?
I love Tig. I love Jet Reno. I love her. She strikes a chord with me. Like just the deadpan, the like I know when people like her. That just, just say it like it is and, walk in, say what they need to say and walk out and they're not dilly dallying, just get it done. But I was this is probably not unpopular, but I was not a fan of Commander Laundry. I did not like her. I did not like her. I thought, I know she was a necessary evil, but like her pushing Michael to hurt the tardigrade and then her attacking and that's how she died. And it's like, well, if you weren't such a bitch all the time, she led to her own demise. And it's just like, for real. I know.
Yeah,
So
she
anyway.
was definitely a tough pill to swallow. I did think the actress did an amazing job with Commander Laundry. I've seen her in other things and she's really is amazing.
Battlestar Galactica.
Devin says he remembers her Battlestar Galactica.
And I was like, she looks like she's in Battlestar, but I can't. Like, I think everyone's in Battlestar.
Eric has a comment about Tig. He says Tig was a breakthrough on Star Trek. Absolutely, she killed every scene. I always sat up when she came on. I was alert. She is wonderful. She truly is a wonderful character, and I'm really glad that they brought her on. I think Stamets needed her. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I think she tempered Stamets.
Yes.
Kind of grounds him maybe a little bit.
Yeah, she does. She kind of brings him back to that reality. You know?
Yeah, he gets so lost in his head.
Well, and the tardigrade DNA kind of makes him because we know that he's outside of time. So sometimes he's not in touch with reality, and that's where she kind of hey, bring it back.
Brings him right back.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, these two beautiful ladies, Tara Rothland as Turin and Yadira Guevara Primp as Poe. I love these characters. Kristen, talk to me about Turin and Poe.
Tarina, I think she's so poised and so diplomatic and so strong. Like she is the epitome of quiet strength. And the way that she can set a boundary with someone without raising a voice, and you're just like, oh yes, ma'am, I'm backing off. She's someone I definitely would love to be like when I grow up.
I think she brings that Vulcan and Romulan personality. Very, she merges them very well. Yes, definitely.
Clever in her execution of things. So clever. Yeah.
And how about Poe, Kristen? We didn't get a lot of
Poe.
Poe
I
was
didn't get a lot of her. I don't know her well. I don't.
You have to. I think you have to watch the short treks to get her full story.
Oh, I never saw the short treks.
Okay. You should.
Add them to
it.
They really give you a lot of extra information.
Yeah.
So Philip, what about you? What do you think of these wonderful characters?
I didn't get much of Poe, but Corinne, I love her. I love her relationship with Saru. And it's just so elegant, so poised, so she knows how to be a leader and when, to keep her cool and then be able to, when she's dissatisfied with something, be able to voice it, but voice it in a commanding way, but not in a mean way.
Yes.
That's what I love about her.
Yeah.
And that's probably the Vulcan side of her, that she's very composed and everything's logical and there's not a lot of emotion involved. but
Exactly.
still seeing her emotions with Saru is interesting.
Oh, I
Yes.
love their relationship. I think
Yeah,
that
it's lovely.
Saru needs someone like her, where she is her own person, her own woman. She does not need to be taken care of or protected, but
Yeah.
can talk to him and say, okay, this is why I do the things that I do. And they have like this great communication, which is beautiful. Poe is a queen in in her planet. She is amazing and brilliant, and I think that she brings
Yeah.
such youthful balance into her character because she's a very young queen, and I love that about her. I think she's amazing, but she is a genius. And if you haven't checked out the short tracks, check them out for sure because they have a lot of extra little details and informations.
They fill in some of the
Yeah,
gaps.
they fill
Yeah.
in some of the gaps that you don't get. Remember, are not at the 22 episodes a season anymore where we can give time to these characters to really get explored. So these short treks kind of fill in the gap a bit, which is really great. Now we can't talk about the badass women of Star Trek
Mm-hmm.
Discovery without talking about Mary Chieffo as L'Rell.
Morale. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
I mean my Klingon, right? She is amazing. Phil, talk to me about L'Rell.
Laurel, she scared me a little bit when she. I don't know what she how she did that Klingon. What was it? Magic? Was it science? When she transformed
I know, right?
the
Ooh.
what's his name? Oh my god, I can't think of his name right now. And I love him. What is his name? I can't think of his
Ash.
name. Ash,
Well,
yes.
his name
Ash.
after is
Yeah.
Ash. Yeah.
Ash. Yeah.
And just when they did those scenes, and I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm like, how is she doing this? I'm like, what kind of knowledge does she knows? And she's like being so confident about what she's going about doing and stuff like that. And she's just like, and she's trying to keep them all, the whole Klingon, people
I call it
together.
Klingon voodoo.
Well, yeah, and
Uh-huh.
she even says when she talks about her house, she says we are the subterfuge, the spies and the sneakies and the tricksters, and then she's like, well, when she sends him when he's still the Klingon, she says, I'm going to send you to my family, and the matriarchs will do their magic, and we'll be able to do this, and you don't reconcile that till later when he finally figures it out, like what
Exactly.
Right.
they did to him to take him from being a Klingon to being a human.
Right.
They
That
Brutal.
was
physically,
amazing.
emotionally, mentally broke him
Oh,
Hmm.
in ways that I can't even fathom to understand and wrap my head around. Kristen, what do you think of her? I mean, that Klingon voodoo makes her a badass right there. I'm
yes, but
calling it
like
that until they tell me otherwise.
she rose to power and ended up helping end the war and like
Hmm.
sort
Yeah.
of turned into Queen Elizabeth like
Kind of,
of
yeah.
the Klingons, like I'm not going to have a husband or baby, you are my husband and baby, that kind of like England was Elizabeth's baby, that kind of
Yes,
vibe,
yes,
like that level
absolutely.
of dedication and love for her people in general, like
Hmm.
Yeah.
that is so badass.
Yeah.
Her stories are also really heartbreaking, and the fact that she still did everything that she did and still tried to like give true love to Ash. I forget what her Klingon lover's name was, but
Bog.
Volk,
Vogue.
Volk.
Devin pulled
Yeah, like
Devin
that.
pulled it
That was
up.
a heartbreaking story, but she still like pushed through that and stayed strong and didn't, crawl into it. So that makes her go from someone who's like, "Who am I? I'm nothing," to like ruling a whole group is just amazing.
Yeah,
Just so
absolutely.
incredible.
Well, and
Absolutely.
she
Messed
was,
up
and she
at
was,
times,
and
but
she was,
incredible.
yes. Well, it is messed up because
Yeah.
she's fueled by that fire that she's mad that somebody, stole her power and her friends, and and
Hmm.
and and their plans, and then, I mean, I just watched these episodes. So it's like she ended up in the chamber of the dead, and all of her friends and her crewmates are there dead, and they've been executed. And it's like, well, what was the point of them going to that side if he was just going to kill them anyways? And I think that's part of what fueled her fire was, you know, they couldn't continue the way they were going, that they needed to
No,
be,
absolutely.
united and not under. I mean, I really think they needed a matriarch, not a patriarch, because, you know, the way that Klingon man was going, it was not going well.
Yeah,
No.
absolutely. And now we're going to come to our last female character
Hmm.
Okay.
before we move on
Yeah.
to our next segment.
Hmm.
I love Eve Harlow, and she's playing Maul, and I love hating her character. Philip,
Yeah.
talk to me about her.
I was getting ready to say the same thing. I love hating her character. I can't stand her. I'm like, no, y'all not gonna find that stuff. Y'all not gonna find that technology. That your Burnham is gonna talk to y'all. I hope she stops y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Woo.
she's good. She's good. She's that character you love to hate.
Absolutely. And her fighting skills, wow.
Yes.
She has faced some serious competition. Kristen, talk to me about Maul and what you think of her.
Oh. Um, Sorry, my headset went out for a minute. Can you tell me again?
What do you think of Maul and her
Oh.
character?
I don't hate her. She's definitely far from my favorite, I will say. I feel
Right.
like she is very much the rogue character, and everything about her is so rogue.
Yeah,
And she does it very, very well, very sneaky, very like getting out. Um, but I mean, it's lovely to see that she's more the powerful one in the duo, and that's not always the case. When you have,
Yeah.
a duo of rogues running away and doing so, like, no, you can tell she's the one in charge of things,
yeah.
which is great.
And
Yeah.
Sarah, what do you think of her?
Well, that kind of what Kristen said, that it's nice to see that she's kind of the one in charge. I mean, I don't like her, but I don't hate her, and I do feel that her character is justified in some of the stuff that she's, some of the reasonings behind
Agreed.
everything that she was raised in the Emerald Chain, and
Hmm.
she finally escaped. So I mean, that she escaped slavery, and
Yeah,
wanting to correct that wrong and maybe make a difference. I could understand that.
absolutely. I can absolutely understand that as well. Well, we're going to be getting ready to get to our next segment, which is the female scientist. Take it away, Sarah. Oh,
Okay. This week I chose Patricia Kaishan. Patty is a doctor of fungus with a BA in biology, a PhD in forest pathology and mycology, and she's currently working on her doctorate in the taxonomy. Okay, I can't say that word. Biodiversity and ecology of fungi. She is broadly trained in the taxonomy of macro and micro fungi, with considerable field experience in numerous biodiversity hotspots from around the world. In 2021, she accepted a position as a visiting assistant professor of biology at Bard College. There, she continued research on new species discovery and exploration of the use of certain fungi as potential indicators of ecosystem health. As well as she designed and taught courses on topics such as fungal ecology, natural history, evolution and phylogenetics, fungal diversity, and climate change, and queer ecology. This position affirmed her love for teaching and sharing her joys of the natural world. Concurrently, she began as faculty for the Bard Prison Initiative. Through the program, she teaches college level courses on ecology and evolution in a maximum security setting. As of July 2023, Patty is the curator of mycology at the New York State Museum. As a museum scientist, she is responsible for caring for the museum's extensive collection of fungal specimens, conducting research on fungi in the region, and designing exhibits and offering public mycology educational programs. Beyond more traditional science work, Patty also works in the realms of philosophy and science, ecofeminism, queer ecology, and queer theory, exploring how mycology and other scientific disciplines are situated in and informed by our social political landscape. She is a founding member of the International Congress of Armenian Mycologists, a research organization composed of ethnically Armenian mycologists who seek to simultaneously advance mycological science and Armenian sovereignty and liberation. Her forthcoming book, Forest Euphoria, will be published in 2025. All in all, Patty Kaishan is a young up and comer in the mycology field, and I look forward to what knowledge she can bring to us in the future.
Wow,
She's a
that's
badass.
amazing. Yes, and I can't
Yeah.
wait to check out her book. I
Yeah.
probably won't understand it, but I'm definitely gonna check it out. But
Yes.
It's
we're gonna
perfect for a
quickly move
discovery
on. Yeah,
episode.
I love it,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Yeah.
I know, right? Fungus.
Mhm,
Mm,
mhm.
Yeah, I did it on purpose.
Spore.
I see you. I see you.
Yeah. Now we're gonna go on to our next segment, and it's gonna be exciting. I love the scary redhead reading in the woods. Okay, so tonight we actually have the author of this comic that I absolutely loved reading. It's called When We Were the Voyage by Eric Williamson. He's here tonight. And okay, so this is a story that takes you through a terrifying nightmare journey of a crew who has been invaded by an alien species, okay, hell bent in putting the crew through a horrible, endless torment. It's an amazingly descriptive and beautifully written comic. And it is the incredible artwork in this comic, it goes without saying. Okay, that's the cover. The artwork inside is amazing. You've got to go check this out. It was written by Eric Williamson. His website, I have it right here on the screen, miscreantmedium.bigcartel.com. You can find him on Instagram at Eric Williamson or at When We Were the Voyage. The second issue of this book, I believe, comes out in May. So I'm so looking forward to this. The detailed description of what the characters are going through makes you feel it. Like I'm reading it and I'm going, what? No, I didn't just read that. And I'm rereading it again because I can't believe this is actually in this comic. It is beautifully written, beautifully illustrated. Definitely is a recommend. I think you guys need to definitely check it out. I love the science fiction aspect of it. And as you know, we don't just recommend books, we recommend comics because comics are books too. Now, I do have a second, just kind of a follow up. I did a recommendation for the iDrive for server last week, but his
Yes.
Kickstarter is still going on. So if you are interested in supporting his Kickstarter for the second issue of iDrive for Server, which is a supernatural story, and just go to www.servercomics.com. I love supporting indie comics because they're gonna bring you some amazing work, amazing artwork. They pair up with great artists, and they're giving you work that is so beautiful and so personal. It's just really important to support each other. um but now we're going to go on to our next segment and just a moment. This is where I get to do fun podcast recommendations. First, of course, my man Jace. Always, if you want to take yourself through a nostalgic journey with live stream and video clips, check his YouTube channel out. We've got the pop culture spread where Jace and um, Rick talk about the latest TV shows and movies updates and give you reviews. And it kind of gives you a little Australian style to it. Then we have Jason and Jace at the Jason Roy Gaston channel. They do several different podcasts. They have the VHS Vault, where they do a lot of 80s movies and 80s TV shows. They actually have a podcast called If You Disagree, You're Wrong. It is very comical, lots of fun to watch. And if you're into the power of Jay Skull, they have a review on every single episode. They're fantastic to watch. We have also the Captain's Quadrant. That starts at 9 o'clock tonight on Fridays, Eastern time. They talk about all things Star Trek movies, TV shows, from the original series to present day. They have great interviews as well. And they have also the council room where they talk about all things Doctor Who, from the first Doctor Who all the way to the present one. It's super fun to watch. These guys are great and knowledgeable. We have the Phoenix sisters that do a lot of cosplay, and for their channel, a lot of geeky and nerdy content. Great girls. I was on their podcasts. They've been on ours. Super fun ladies to watch. The Hit or Miss and Silver Screen podcast. These guys are so much fun. I was on the Star Trek Hit or Miss where we discussed Star Trek Nemesis. It's actually now available on their channel. It's an audio podcast only, not a visual. And I'm gonna actually be on to this Sunday, and they'll record it and then put it on later on their channel on the silver screen, where we're going to be talking about the original Planet of the Apes, because you guys know I'm a big
Woo!
Planet of the Apes
Yeah.
fan. I absolutely love them. And then we have the Earth Station Trek. They talk about all things Star Trek as well, and they also review the wines and spirits of Star Trek. And of course, my buddy JJ's and comic stuff. This guy is amazing, such an inspiration. His entire podcast has to do about supporting indie comics. It's actually where I found Eric Williamson's comic that I just reviewed tonight by watching his comic, his podcast, and I'm like, oh, I gotta buy this comic. This sounds fantastic, and you know what? It really truly was. So support these guys; they're great. And then that's also the Sphere production. They do all of this fan made audio drama, and they have fan made written scripts that they do on Doctor Who. They're really fantastic, lots of fun. Definitely check them out. Now, these ladies are great. Three Fry Short podcasts. They do everything Stargate, every single Stargate. They do interviews with the actors. They're just a fantastic, super fun to watch and listen to. If you're into Stargate, if you want to learn more about Stargate, this is definitely the place to go. Now, next episode of the Sci-Fi Queens will be May 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where we're going to be talking about the heroes, the female heroes of The Walking Dead, and Tiffany will be our special guest. So we have quite the lineup going on for our next episode. Phil, if there anything that you want to share before we sign off tonight?
No, thanks for having me. I'm grateful to be here, be an honorary sci-fi queen, even though I'm already a queen.
You are only one of three gentlemen who have entered the domain of the sci-fi queens.
Right.
And Kristen, anything you want to plug in? Anything you want to share with us?
No, I mean, thank you for having me. I'm just really happy to be here as a new Trekkie and passionate but new Trekkie. And I really
Yes.
enjoyed getting to chat with you guys about Discovery. An awesome show.
Awesome. Now, if you guys want to follow Philip on TikTok, he is at Philip1814. If you want to follow Kristen on TikTok, he's at Essence Birch. So check them out. And Sarah, do you have any last minute thoughts to share with us?
Well, thank you guys for coming tonight, and I had fun talking to everyone.
Me too.
This was
Yes.
fantastic. Eric, thank you for joining us. And that's what he said about my review. I'm so excited. I'm like, I can't wait for May. Like I need to know what happens now, I'm very excited about it. I am. These comments got me crazy because they making me
Oh
wait
gosh.
for the next issues,
Yeah.
and they're really fantastic. So it's been a journey. But I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, for being here, and thank you, Philip and Kristen, for joining us. And
Yes,
again,
thank
you're
you.
gonna see them here again in other episodes as well. So just keep
Mhm.
track of us, and we'll let you know when they'll be here. But we want to say good night to everyone and stay tuned to the Captain's Quadrants that's coming up next.
Bye.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our new channel so that you can get notified when new videos come up. Thank you